Hi friends, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about lunar gardening. Hi friends, today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about lunar gardening, which is basically gardening by the moon, and it's something that's been done for ages, since the beginning of farming and gardening, and something our ancestors relied on, but it's kind of gotten, some of the information has been lost and not passed down, but the internet is full of it. My ancestors, I did genealogy a while back, and in the 1600s, my dad's ancestors were tobacco farmers back in Virginia, and my mom's side of the family were farmers and coal miners, and there was some coal mining in my dad's side of the family too, but everyone, relied on agriculture. They didn't have, you know, the conveniences that we had back then, where you could just, have money and go to the store and buy anything you needed. My grandfather on my mom's side, he, they, the homestead was basically off grid on top of Williams Mountain, and if you've ever been to West Virginia, it is not easy to farm there. Both sides, they're on the ridge of a mountain where the home is up here on top, and then going down the sides was where they farmed, and they did an apple orchard, peach orchard. They relied on fruit trees, and then the kids, my mom was one of 9 or 10, and my aunt told me how she was one of the horses that pulled the plow. One kid would be behind the plow, or a parent, and then all the kids would, pull like oxen and up and down, the slopes of a mountain. And gardening in life was rough for them. They pretty much were off grid most of their life. And thinking back, um, I'll tell you about my ancestry another time. Sorry, we'll get back to lunar gardening. I started a blog a number of years ago to help me remember, so that, when I forget, I can just refer back to it. And, let's see. Like right here, there's three methods of planting by the moon. There's the syndic, waxing or waning, the sidereal, and the biodynamic cycle. The waxing and waning is probably the first form of gardening by the moon. It's where you follow the moon phases, and it's divided into 4 sections. I'll post this on my blog if you want to see this a little bit more in an up close manner. The moon cycle starts with the full moon, and it's kind of, if you can think of a cup full of water, when the moon is full, all the water is completely full. The moon affects gravity, and if you look at this right here, when the moon is full, the Earth is between the sun and the moon, and that causes a gravity pull. And then when there's a new moon, the moon is between the sun and the Earth, and it's a little bit more relaxed and balanced, kind of like a cup half full. And the cycle starts after the new moon. The new moon basically is the first cycle, and that's called after the new moon, it's called the waxing moon, where the moon is starting to go up again to become a full moon. And then after the full moon, it's starting to go down again. And basically, we'll start with number one here, the waxing moon. After the new moon, it's the best time to sow seeds, plant. So plant. Sorry, tongue tied. Sow seeds and plants. That way they can start taking up more waters. As the moon increases in light, it creates balance of leaf. So after the new moon, it's kind of divided into 7 days, 7 and 7, 14, and then 28. Each cycle is 7 days. So as the it goes from a balanced amount of water and starts going up, seeds start swelling and bursting because gravity starts pulling up more water. And then as the moon increases in light, it creates a balance in leaf and root. But the best time, or the best thing to grow then, is leaf, cabbage, peas, beans, melons. It would be starting into the second quarter up here, after the new moon. Gravity pulls a little bit less, but the moonlight is strong. It creates leaf growth. Plants prefer the second quarter growth that are above ground annuals that have seed that forms inside the fruit, like beans, melons, peas, peppers, squash, and tomatoes. So this section here would be more of a fruiting, first leaf, then fruit, and then after the full moon, or during the full moon, it's best. A lot of people call it a barren time. The On the full moon, because it's like a full glass of water and you're drowning in it, and it kind of explains a little bit if you really think about it. People say it's a full moon and everyone's crazy. It's kind of like your head is full of liquid. Or all the alcohol goes to your brain or something. You know, I'm not sure, but I know that 2 days before the full moon is the best time for planting fruit trees. That way they can, get into the ground that's almost full of water. And then after it reaches the full moon, it goes into a root cycle where it's best for potatoes and carrots, beets, peanuts, and the fruit trees are in the water. Even though the water's starting to go down, gravity is pulling the roots down and creating a really good root system for it to grow. And then as gravity starts pulling down, creating more moisture in the soil, but the moonlight is decreasing, putting energy into the roots. That's what's happening in directly after the moon, full moon. This is good for biennials, bulbs, transplants, and because all this is because of root growth, that it's good to do that. In the fourth quarter here, a week after the full moon, it's a decrease in light and gravity. It's kind of a peaceful resting period. It's good for cultivating, harvesting, transplanting, mowing the grass, things like that. It's I just put a peace sign here as a symbol, of not a lot of anything. What do you call that? Activity, just peaceful growth. And okay, I'm not sure if I'm explaining this well. I'm not really good at I say one thing and mean another sometimes, but I think I've got it out. And let me listen to the video and see if it makes sense. But I'll put a link to my blog in the comments section where you can go there. It's called itsgreensday.blogspot.com, and I've got a Lunar Garden link here. If you what do you call it? Let me take this off the stand. Okay, a lot of this is explained better in writing here, and there's a link over here on the side to a lunar planting calendar. I can't do that anymore myself. You know, I don't have the knowledge stuck in my head anymore. On this, for the northern, like North America, where I'm at right now, I use the sidereal English version. The tropical would be like Australia, the southern countries. And then today is the 27th, so we're headed up again for a full moon. And that would make this veggie time. And if you can see on here, they've got tomatoes, and then they've pre-jumped the roots into the 29th and the 30th on this calendar. This is because it's a sidereal versus just going by the moon. But right now would be a fruit time, you know, to start getting your fruit seeds going if you're pre-planting for spring. And then I'll skip up a month. Okay. Right here, the full moon, they do have it barren. You know, these symbols right here, the yellow things. There's a list on the bottom down here. Garden works with flower plants, baking bread, sowing flowers. So you're not actually doing anything with the fruits and vegetables that you're eating or the trees. And what do you call it? Then they got it going into tomatoes, you know, lettuce and tomatoes. This deals a lot with the zodiac, and it's kind of part of the biometric system. Right here, or yeah, biodynamic gardens. This one's really involved. What they've done is taken Lunar Garden and turned it into a science. And astrology is used, and I can no longer, you know, I've got some of the basics written on here, but I can no longer just tell you, you know, how this works, because it's way too technical and really involved. But I'm back to the basics of lunar gardening, and I use this calendar to refer to when making my choices of what to plant and when to plant, because gravity does have a lot of pull, you know. Let's see, you know, when the gravity is pulling the water up and pulling the water down. But I'll go ahead and stop this for now, and I hope that I've kind of explained it to you, you know, to where you can kind of understand it a little bit. You know, the full moon, full cup, and then as the moon goes down, the water goes down, and then the new moon is neutral. After the new moon, start seeds for lettuce, and then a week later, tomatoes, vegetables that are in the fruit family. Then back up to the full moon, roots, then rusting, lettuce, and fruit. You know, it's pretty easy if you can, you know, just divide the month up and remember how to do it like this. or like I said, refer to the lunar planting, or Farmer's Almanac puts out, something like that also, that gives you an idea of what to plant when. But y'all have a good day or night, and thanks for watching.